Well, first of all, I remember the shows pretty well because it was, the Smothers Brothers show was sort of the class show for the kind of music that I did, and a lot of other singers that were generally called folk singers or contemporary singers of the time. They had a lot of contrast. They had beautiful quality. You can see in the clips that they had great lighting, and they were very funny. And remember, I knew these guys from Colorado, and I remember being extremely shy. I was extremely shy. I don't know how, out of all the things that I could have done, I became a performer, really. But I guess being a singer was what led me into having to be public and having to learn to be less shy. But they always rather slightly embarrassed me, not in a bad way at all, but they kind of made me giggly and sort of feeling as though I was a little bit in high school and a little bit kind of intimidated and amused at the same time. When I first met them in Aspen in the snowstorms of 1959, we were working at the Limelight, and I'll just never forget it. I mean, first of all, they were so funny. I would stand backstage watching them work before I went on, and just falling apart, screeching with laughter, and loving their humor. And they were just a delight to be around. But I do remember when I went on that show feeling extremely shy, and they still bring that out in me. They make me feel about 15 for some reason. They're so cute, they're so endearing, and their humor is very unusual. I don't know any other person that has the kind of humor that Tom Smothers has. And his brother Dick just is the straight man for him in the most unusual way. And I remember being very excited about doing the show, as I said, because it was a special show. It was a showcase. And in some of the previous years, there hadn't been very many places where I could sing on television, and I loved it. The Officer Judy bit was very funny. They did not prepare me for it. They surprised me with it, and we were somehow more naive in those days and more innocent, I guess. So that was sort of risky for them to do, to wonder how I would respond, and I thought it was very funny, and I loved it. I thought it was darling. And I was backstage, and Tom set it all up and how important this was going to be. It was wonderful. The shows, of course, were shot, as far as I can remember, they were shot live. And they were shot, we were looking at first and we thought, was that lip sync? Because it sounded so good. And then we said, no, it's real singing. Because I can hear the player, the guy who's playing the keyboard, miss a note, so I know it wasn't from the record. But that's about the only thing that can tell me that on the live performance there was a slight difference from the record. The show is extremely fresh and funny, and to me, and delicious. I think that's a surprise. The humor holds up. They're always current, the Smothers Brothers. They always feel current because it's not mean humor. First of all, it's all usually turned, if anywhere, upon themselves, and that's refreshing. And I think that's the tradition out of which comics like Billy Crystal come. I think it's a kind humor. It's not a destructive humor. That I was once again, although I do remember that always about them, that's the way they are. But it is refreshing and delicious to see again. And it holds up because it looks like it was made, except for the skirts, and the hair a little bit, and the blue eyeshadow. It looks like a very contemporary show. It's wonderful.